Hi, this is Marumuthu Kanivadi. We are live in Environmental Risk Assessment for Construction Site Part 2. What we have seen before, Part 1 for this Environmental Risk Assessments Construction Site. So that's happened before that. So today we have a Part 2. Tomorrow, Part 3 also available for the same time of 3 p.m. So just watch it and you have any questions, feel free to ask for this environmental risk assessments for construction sites. So the risk assessments is mainly for construction site. So what we have seen in the part 1, what is environmental risk assessments, then what are the steps of risk assessments, environmental risk assessments. So now what we are going to see, common environmental issues, risks and controls. Common environmental risks and controls. So this is the for construction site, not all site, the construction site. So the construction site environmental issues is always different from the normal manufacturing and oil and gas plant health and environmental issues. The construction site environmental risk and controls. What are the environmental risk and controls? What will be the controls? Here, dust emission is an environmental risk. So what will be the control? Water spraying is the control to minimize the dust in the construction site. When the demolition work or construction activities going on in a major or minimum or major sites, you see the dust particulate matter will, particulate matter always a problem for working people, and also it's the biggest environmental issue. So the particulate matter of micron 5 and micron 10, PM 10 and PM 5, PM 5 and PM 10, particulate matter 5 and 10 is always the problem for the construction site. So that's why this environmental risk is dust emissions. Then what will be the solution for that? So water spraying. By spraying the water in the construction site, you can minimize the dust emissions and you can minimize the particulate matters, PM, particulate matters, and it will one of the environmental risk that control is spraying the waters. Okay, next one is fuel, oil spillage. So when you are there in the construction site, you see the oil spillages mostly in these sites. So handling the oil spillage is one of the big issue. So this environmental risks are oil spills. You always having the spillage kits to handle or contain the spillages. So for spillage containing, you have to have a spill kits, oil spill kits. This oil spill kits is a control measures. Control measures. So whatever fuel it's spilled in the ground, it's a major environmental pollution, soil pollution. So when it's contact to the soil, the safety people or environmental people who are seeing the oil in the ground, in the soil, it's a biggest offense because oil will spoil the microbes and will spoil the activity of the soil. That's why the environmental risk is high. So for the control measures, you always having the spill kits. Oil spill kits means sponges, sawdust. Whatever spill kits you have, you must use it for the containing the oil spillages. Then waste pollution. So when you see construction site, you have a waste everywhere in the site. That is the biggest issue, especially plastic waste and hazardous waste, e-waste. E-waste means when the demolition happening, all the electrical items there in this site, that is called e-waste. So you have to categorize the waste. One is e-waste, hazardous waste, liquid waste, solid waste. So these all the waste you have to categorize. So for this waste pollution, you have to waste segregation is the control measures. How to segregate waste? You have to segregate on the basis of biodegradable, non-biodegradable. So biodegradable means it's easily biodegradable. It's easily make a manure. It's easily making the activity. So when you put it in the soil, it easily sedimented because the microbes act on these biodegradable things, so no issues. But non-biodegradable materials is always dangerous to the environment. That's why plastics is a non-biodegradable, and the hazardous materials non-biodegradable, e-waste non-biodegradable. So you have to categorize the liquid waste and hazardous waste, e-waste. Then you have a biodegradable waste, non-biodegradable waste. By means of this segregation, you can control the waste pollution in your construction site. So that is the waste pollution. Then noise pollution. Next one is noise pollution. So noise is always biggest issue in the construction site. It's an environmental risk. So in this environmental risk, what you are going to do? You have to control the noise. So if the dB means decibel above 80 decibel is abnormal. It's above the standard. So in that above standard, 80 decibel means you have to make it some silencer, some control measures. So normal dB sound between 45 to 55. So the decibel if goes more than 80, it leads to offense, environmental offense or environmental risk. So you have to put the silencer and limited time working. Limited time working hours, you have to make a limited time. If 80 decibel, 75 to 80 decibel is there, you have to make the timings. So change the duration. How much you are working, you have to reduce the working hours, and also you have to use the silencer to reduce the noise. For that, noise pollution. Then next is water contamination is also the environmental risk. So in case the construction site having the environmental water contamination means so many debris, so many waste which is there in the water, then you have to do the sedimentation tank. So you have to send the water to the sedimentation tank, and then this sedimentation tank inside the water, the sediments go to down and settle there, and you can take it slurry and take it a clear water. So you can clear water, you can use it for some other purpose. Then you can sediment it, you can test it. If it's okay, you can use it for soil, or if it's hazardous, send it to the third party for disposal, environmental friendly disposal. So that is for the sedimentation tanks. So this is the water contamination also risk. For control measures, sedimentation tanks. Then you have a control measures are engineering borders. So you have to put the engineering borders for the construction site for controlling all the activities. Engineering borders means there is a fencing, there is a CCTV, fencing, and the limiting the persons entering and limiting the pollutions. That's why the engineering borders for control measures. PP is monitoring and review. So always you have to monitor and review for the PPEs. So that will be the environmental risks. So when you are using the PPEs, you have to always monitor and review it. So here what we can see, common environmental risk and its controls for construction site. All safety officers, those who are working in the construction site, you must know it. This is good environmental knowledge. You can get it, because this kind of things definitely you will not get it in the any papers, any books, anywhere. These are my experience. So wherever I worked, got in the, it's all natural way of getting the experience. This information is a valid information. You will get it for your life. So these environmental informations normally in the sites someone will tell, but when you have getting the experienced people knowledge, that will gain you more information and more practical applicability. Practical applicability is different, paper is different. So when practical applicability more, those who are having the experience. So when you are hearing this kind of things, definitely you can use in your sites, construction sites. For example, dust emission means you can give advice to your people for water spraying. Then oil spillage, ask them to keep a spillage kit, spill kits. Then waste pollution means ask them to segregate the waste for wherever the construction site is there. You have to ask them to segregate biodegradable, non-biodegradable, hazardous, e-waste, domestic waste. Like that you have to categorize the waste, then only you can dispose it. If the waste is hazardous, you cannot dispose it through the normal way of disposing. So you have to make a contract with the environmental companies, environmental waste disposing companies. You have to make a contract and send the hazardous waste to that people. And also, if the water is there, same thing. You have to have a contract with the third party environmental company. You have to safely dispose it. But biodegradable domestic waste, you can send it to normal channel. And also some food waste, kitchen waste, food waste. You can make yourself manure in the construction site itself, or send it for the waste management company or domestic waste collecting departments. For example, corporations, municipalities, wherever there, you can send the domestic waste to them, but you cannot send it to the e-waste, hazardous waste to the domestic people. That you have to remember. So now what we have seen, common environmental risks and controls. Number one, dust emission, fuel and oil spillage, waste pollution, then noise pollution, then water contamination, then control measures, PPE. So these are, we have seen, common environmental risks and controls. So number four, legal and standard reference. So for this environmental risk, what are the legal and standard references? Where it's telling that you have to use the environmental risk assessment. Where is the law? Where is the legal point? Where is the reference? Everyone asking, but we have to give the reference. We have to show them legal things are there or behind that. So we have seen the legal part. ISO 14001 is a legal document. We can refer it. Based on the ISO 14001, we have to make an environmental risk assessment, and for construction site, these are the waste needs to be properly disposed. Hazard waste means properly disposed. E-waste means properly disposed. Domestic waste means properly disposed. You must categorize biodegradable and non-biodegradable. And then based on that only you have to dispose, and you must have a receipt for that. So here the legal and standard references ISO 14001 and NIBOSH environment is there. You know, everyone knows the NIBOSH IGC 1, IGC 2, IGC 3. So NIBOSH, the various courses are there. In this, general certificate is there, international general certificates are there. So here, NIBOSH, the environment. When you go to NIBOSH environment, you know how to handle the waste. All the things are there. That is the one of the reference. And also ISO 14000 is one of the reference. Then you have a local regulations. What local regulations? Local municipality regulations are there, corporation regulations are there. So that regulations also saying that how to dispose the waste. What are the environmental rules and regulations of EPA, Environmental Protection Authority, Pollution Control Board, Environmental Ministry, that you have to follow to properly dispose the waste. This is the control measures. This is the environmental risk. Then you have an environmental management plan. So environmental management EMP, environmental management plan and client requirement. So during the construction site itself, you have an environmental management plan. Before itself, you submit it to the client. So that plan itself, you mention that these are the ways how to handle, how to segregate, how to dispose the waste. So that is also legal document. And also client requirement. What client requirement? So when a person taking the contract for the big oil and gas company or any construction site, so they have to mention that you have to dispose as per the environmental standard. So you have to dispose the waste as per the environmental standards. So this client requirement says you have to categorize the waste, you have to dispose environmental friendly, you have to dispose, and you must have a receipt, and the client also come and audit your premises about the environmental part. So the waste is major area when you are seeing the environmental risk. So those who are in the HSE, EHS, safety people, you must know how the waste are generated, what are the control measures for the construction site, what will be their legal references. ISO 14000, NIBOSH, environment, local rules and regulations as per Environmental Protection Authority, PCB, and environmental management plan, and finally client requirement. What all clients saying about the environmental requirement, you have to follow, you must follow. That's important. So here we have seen for the environmental risk assessments for construction site part 2. What we have seen in part 1, those who are missed for the part 1, just refer it in the same YouTube live sessions. Part 1 is available. Go and watch it and get more information on part 1. Here what we have seen part 2. Tomorrow will be part 3. Part 3, tomorrow 3 p.m. We have a same environmental risk assessment construction site part 3. So don't forget to watch it and don't miss it tomorrow 3 o'clock, the environmental risk assessment part 3. So now that is the end of the part 2. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much for your support. I am getting more support from yours. every day. So it's definitely encouraging me to do more live classes for HSE side. So thanks for watching and encouraging me. So tomorrow there will be environmental discussions once part 3. So you watch it, and you have any questions in this, definitely raise the questions in the comment section. I will try to answer for that. Thanks for watching. Still you didn't subscribe it, subscribe, share it, like it, and inform your friends also subscribing this channel and supporting more to the HSE mindset will make you more HSE updates. Thank you much. Thank you very much. We will see you tomorrow. Thank you.